Hello everyone, welcome back. So, in this lecture, we are going to learn about the variables in ESQL. So, when talking about the variable is of three type: normal variable, shared variable, and external variable. So, we are going to cover each one of them in detail. When talking about the normal variable, but before covering the variable, let's understand a few things. I have created a small application like the previous application what we created. So I created an application with name variables in ESQL. Under that I created a message flow with variables in ESQL under a schema com.variable.in.esql. While creating this application message flow, I use the MQ input node. In MQ input node, I selected as a input queue as a orders dot into read message from the MQ input, and I selected a input parsing message a XML and SC to parse only XML message, and parsing option as a complete so that I can see any validation and parsing error happen. In NQ output, I selected the as a queue name as a orders.out to send the message to output queue. Now in compute node, I just did nothing. I just removed the by default code, and this is how basically you look. It will look once it will use first time. Okay. So if you see here, what is written here? Here if you see, it is written like that broker schema and the schema name. This is the same schema name that it is written here .com.variable in SQL. So this is defining the broker schema with broker schema name this. Further, we are creating a compute module with module name this. Under compute module, I am creating a function with function name main, returning data type as a boolean and returning value as a true. So basically there are three things involved here. First, it is involved as a broker schema. Second, it is involved as a compute module, and third, it is involved as a function. So in this compute node, there are three things involved: broker schema, compute module, and the function. And while declaring a variables in ESQL, we need to take care these three levels. So if you are declaring any variables under a schema, or in other word we can say that and between broker schema and compute module, it means in this area that variable is called that we at the schema level. So if you are declaring a variable under a compute module, or we can say that between compute module and function, then that is called a module level or compute module level. And if you are declaring any variable under a function, then that is called a function level. So variable that we are declaring between the compute module and the broker schema is called the schema level variable. The variable that we are declaring under a compute module and a function, it is called the compute module variable, and the variable that we are declaring under a function, it is called the uh, it is called at the function level variable. Okay. So now this is the brief about the this is a brief about the levels in ESQL while declaring the variable. Now let's go to the each one of them. First, let's understand the normal variable. Whatever the variable till now we have learned previously, that variable is called the normal variable. So whatever the variable we have declared, like the declare int var integer, declare char var character, these all variable are called the normal variable. So variable that we have declared till now is called normal variable, and it can be declared at any variable at any level. So normal variable can be declared at schema level, normal variable can be declared at module level, and normal variable can be declared at correct function level. Okay. Okay. So let me declare a simple normal variable, like just suppose declare char var, which is a character type. Okay. So this is called a normal variable. So it can be declared at a function level, or either you can declare this as a module level, or either you can declare this as a schema level. Okay. It is up to you where you want to declare a normal variable. Now, if you want to understand how can we segregate the normal variable from the other two variable, that's the shared variable and the external variable. In same, while declaring this normal variable, if someone is mentioning shared keyword before the data type, then this variable will become the shared variable. So if someone is writing like the declare char var shared and character, so this variable will become the shared variable. If someone is mentioning the keyword external, then this variable will become the external variable. So if someone is using the shared keyword, then it will become the shared variable. If someone is using the external keyword, then it will become the external variable. And if someone is using not using anything, then it will be like that, then it will become the normal variable. So that's the difference between the shared variable and the shared variable and the normal variable, and the external variable and normal variable. So if you are not using any keyword like shared or external, then it is a normal variable, and if someone is using the shared, then it is a shared variable. If someone is using the external, it is external variable. Okay. So that we have seen till now. It can how can we declare a normal variable, and it is valid at all level. Point number 2. Point number 3, how can we differentiate the normal variable with other variables, that like external and the shared. Point number 4, that normal variable have a lifetime of just one message passing through the node, and they are visible to that node, that message only. Okay. So whatever you store under the normal variable, it will just it will be just available to that node only, and for here it is compute node. So whatever you store in the bad variable, it will be available to this compute node only, and it will not available after that. Okay. So it seems simple, you can say that normal variable has a lifetime of just one message passing through a node, and they are visible to that message only. Okay. And few are the example I have taken of the normal variable, like that boolean, date and time, numeric, reference, row and string. Okay. So these all are the example of row variable, sorry, these are normal variable. So let's take a example where I am using the normal variable. So I just declare a variable, we declare char var, which is a character type, and let me set the value of the if char. I have taken a simple example. Let me just, okay, and let me, instead of declaring at function level, let's declare it at schema level. There is no problem. Okay, so I just declare a normal variable at schema level, and I am checking if it is null. If the value is null, then just set the value with the Ishu Kumar Tiwari. Okay, my name. Okay, let's see what is happening. Let me deploy it. Let me hit the flow. Flow has been executed successfully. Now it came here. Go inside the compute node. You can see currently variable has been declared with the char var, but currently there is no value under a schema because I have declared the variable at schema level. So you can see this is the schema com dot variable dot in dot esql. So this is the schema. Under schema we have declared a variable with char var. So this variable has been declared, but currently there is no value set against this variable. So here if I am checking if the char var is null, if there is no value set it against this variable, then it will set my name. Okay, so you can see it is checking. Okay, it found that there is no value is present. You can see because currently there is no value set against it. So if there is no value present against the any variable, then it is the null. Okay, so it is setting my name, and you can see my name, it is setting my name is Ishu Kumar Tiwari. Okay, and currently if you see under a variable my name has been setted. Okay, if you go outside this compute module, okay, what happened? Seems debugger has stuck. Let me just try to again hit it. Okay, debugger got stuck. Let me just terminate the flow. Okay, so in that case, let me just, because it is giving timeout, it means there is some problem. So let me just kill the process again. I need to do it from a beginning. Okay, so let me just 1 minute. Why it is coming like that? Okay, okay, now let me go for data flow engine. Let me go to view details. Data flow. Okay, this is the engine. Let me clear in the process. It means killing the process, and let me refresh it. Sometimes the process got stuck by because of the debugger is lunch from the longer time. So just you need to kill the process. It will bring back everything. Let's wait for the few seconds. Okay, now it is back. Now let me launch the debugger now. Okay, launched. Now let me hit the flow executed, and you can see, go inside it, you can see still again the flow executed, and variable is nothing has declared against it, no value. It will again check and it will assign a value. You can see Rishi Kumar Tiwari. If you again hit the flow next time, it if you again hit the flow second time itself, again it will, again if you will go here, you can see there is no value against assigning it. Again it will check and it will found that the char var is null. So what is happening here, every time we are setting the value, right? So in normal variable does not store a variable, store a value until that message flow itself, until that node only, that one node only. Here it is a compute node, so it will store a variable to that will be valid till node, and after that it will clear the variable. Okay, so if you go here, you can see the variable is getting clear, value setted, and after that if you go outside this node, you can see the value, the variable value has been cleared. Okay, but it is again again when I'm hitting the flow next time, again it is coming with the, again when I'm setting the value again next time, sorry, just again I'm hitting the flow next time, and we are finding that again variable having a null value assigned, again we are even setting the value. Okay, so this is about the normal variable. Okay, so we have seen that the in normal variable we are every time the char var is coming as a null. Okay, there is no value, char var cannot store a value for a longer time. So if you want the char var can store a value for a long life, or for a long time, it cannot store a value. It can, it the value whatever they store by this variable, it will be valid till this node, and once this flow will execute, it value will become clear. Again when you will send the value again next time, the value will become null, again we have to set the value. So that's the normal variable. So what we have seen in normal variable till now, before like closing the normal variable, and we will start with the shared variable, let's understand the thing. We have seen that there are three levels, that the schema level, module level, and function level. Schema level, when you declare between the schema and a compute, it is called schema level. When you declare at a between compute and the function, it is called module level. And when you declare inside a function, it is called function level. Normal variable can be declared at any level, either you can declare at a schema, module, and function level. If you will not use a keyword called external or shared, that variable is called while declaring the variable, that variable is called normal variable. And the life of normal variable uh, is just one message passing through a node, and they are visible to that message only. Okay, and if you're talking examples, the examples are the few of the example I am giving, just like that: boolean, date and time, numeric, reference, row, string. These are a type of normal variable. Okay, so whatever, if you and we have seen here, every time when we are declaring a value, and we are setting a value against the variable, and again when I'm hitting the flow next time, again this variable is coming with blank value, null value, again we are setting the value. Every time when we are hitting the flow, the variable has no value assigned, it is coming as a null, and we are assigning the value. So variable, normal variable cannot store a value for a longer time. Okay, so count to fix this issue and to fix this challenge, we came with the solution called shared variable. So shared variable can store a value for a longer period of time. Okay, so it can store a value until we refresh the execution group or refresh the message flow. Okay, okay, so let's go to the shared variable. When talking about the shared variable can be used to implement in memory cache in the message flow. So whatever the value you stored under a shared variable, it basically store a value in form of cache. What is cache? Cache is just a type of memory that is used to store information. So it is a memory which is used to store some information, and later if required we can clear the cache. Okay, so cache can be cleared. It is a temporary memory. It is a temporary memory with some information stored inside it, and if required we can clear the cache, and temporary memory will be free of. Okay, so shared variable, whatever we store in a shared variable, it is stored temporary in form of cache, and when we refresh the execution group or application or message flow, then the information got the cache become clear, and the cache will become clear, and again the new value will getting load. Okay, so let me show you in same what we have written here. Just let me use the shared keyword and let's see the difference. Just I have mentioned the shared keyword, I did nothing. Okay, and just let me build and save the bar file, and let me deploy it. Now let me hit the flow, and let's see what's the difference. Flow executed. You can see currently under a broker schema, variable name char has been declared. Currently there is no value initialized. Okay, now here I am checking if char is null. So yes, it is null, you can see. So it will set a value as a Rishu Kumar Tiwari. So you can see value has been assigned to this char. Okay, so what we did, this is the very first time I executed the flow after declaring a shared variable. And to declare shared variable, it is simple: declare variable name, shared, and the variable type. And here I'm just using simple thing, I'm just checking if the char is null. So if the variable is null, then I am setting the value. Okay, now if you see, I just say, because initially first time I declared, so value is null, and I am just setting the value as a Rishu Kumar Tiwari, and just complete the flow. Now let me again hit the flow. Now again executed the flow, and if you see here, this block has not executed till now. This block has not executed till now, and carver is coming with the value Rishu Kumar Tiwari. Okay, so what you can understand from here, it is still loaded with the previous information. It is still loaded with the previous information. Correct? So it is still loaded with the previous information what we cited here. And if so, you can see it is not null, so this block will not execute. You can see it directly came here. This block has not executed. So what you can understand from here, whatever the value first initialize for this shared variable, it will store in form of cache. And now every time if you execute, every time you will set the value, every time you will execute the flow, it will be loaded with the same information. There will be no difference. You can see still it is loaded with the Rishu Kumar Tiwari whatever the first time we initialize, and this will block will not execute. Okay, so whatever the value we initialize first time for the shared variable, it will be available, it will be stored in form of cache. The shared variable store the information in form of cache. So how can we clear the cache? Once we clear the cache, this memory will got released and this information will be become will be deleted. Again it will become null. So how can we clear the cache? So there are many way to clear the cache. Either you can reload the EG, reload the application, reload the message flow, or redeploy the application. So if you want to do this all, there are another way. If you can hit the another flow, that will clear the cache, and there are third way using the atomic block. So that all I will be showing you, each one of them one by one. Let's first understand how can we clear the cache using reloading. So if either you can stop start the broker, but it is not the correct way because we cannot touch the broker, because this is very crucial thing. So either you can reload, the reload means stop and start. Either you can reload the server, integration server, either you can reload the application, or either you can, we have an option, either you can reload the message flow itself. So reloading the message flow, reloading the what I said, the application, reloading the integration server, or reloading the broker will clear the cache. Okay. Apart from that, if you redeploy your application, that will also clear the cache. So if I will redeploy my application, it will clear the cache. So I will be showing, it is not possible to show everything by reloading the, you can try with each one of them by, you can try with reloading the integration server, you can try with reloading the application, you can try with reloading the uh, message flow, you can try with reloading the broker, you can try with reloading the um, redeploying the application, but I will try with one reload and one redeploy. So let me first reload the application. So let me first stop the application. Reloading means first stopping the application and starting the application. So you can see I have stopped the application and start the application. Now let me hit the flow. Flow executed. Let me go inside the compute node, and you can see now carver is out. Cache has been clear for the carver. Again carver is in getting initialized with the null value. Again we have option to set the value. You can see again I am setting the value as a Rishu Kumar Tiwari and going out of it. Again if I will set the value, it will take the previous information what we have initialized first time. After reloading the, you can see it is still taking the Rishu Kumar Tiwari what we have setted previously. So now the carver is storing the this information in form of cache. Okay. Further, if you want to clear the cache, same thing you can do. Let's try with the redeploying the application. So if I will redeploy the application, again it will, let me redeploy the application. You can see it has been redeployed. Now again, if I will send this, you can see if I will go again against the, you can see now char var there is no value initialized against the char var, and it is, the cache has been cleared and there is no value has been assigned in initialized. Okay, now you can see char var is null, and further if you want to set the value, you can set the value against the char var, and same thing will be available until again we reload or redeploy the application. You can see. Okay, so we have seen how, still if I will send it, okay, let me show you. You can see still it is taking the whatever the value we set initially. Okay, so in this way we have seen how basically shared variable works. So if I will say in one line, whatever value we initialize first time with the shared variable, it will store in form of cache, and it will available until we reload the integration server, we reload or we reload the application, or we reload the message flow, or we redeploy your application. Okay, once we do any one of them, either redeploying your message application or reloading the integration server or application, the cache will become clear. Again it will give you a option to load the newer information to the shared variable. Okay, now this is the basic about the shared variable. So there will be one question coming to your mind: why we need the shared variable? What is the necessity of using the shared variable? Why it is really important? That's the good question you should come in your mind. Okay, now let's understand a situation where we want to fetch some information from the my database. Suppose I want to fetch some information from my table dot orders table, right? And to do some transformation logic or do something logic. Okay, and we are fetching data from database, right? So if we fetch the information from database, suppose this table is the, let's assume that this table is a static table and not frequent information getting inserted, but this is order table, that is not a static table, but assume that this table is a static table and this contains some information that we not update it frequently, we update the information very less. Okay, and we need to fetch the information to do some transformation and do something logic in our application or message flow. Okay, so if the table is static and information is static, so why we are calling again and again database? Because calling again and again database with IS application will degrade the performance. So instead of calling the database again and again, what we can do, we can fetch the information from the this database and we can store in form of shared variable. So what's the benefit will happen? Instead of calling the uh, database again and again, we can fetch the information from the table, and we can store that information in to a variable, and we can reuse that information. Okay, so that's the benefit to it. It will basically increase the performance of any application, and it will avoid recalling the database and again. Okay, so let's implement the solution for that. So let me go to the compute. Okay, so I have written some more code to for your information. Okay, I just declared a row where variable type which is of share type and which is of row data type. Further, I am checking if anything exists under the, if nothing not exist, if there is nothing exist under the variable, then set the fetch the value from this table and set the value, and whatever the information set it under this, then you have to send to output. Okay, that's a simple thing I am doing. What I am doing, I am just declaring a variable which with the name row here, and which is of shared type, and the data type is row, because row variable can store the logical tree. Further, I am checking if this contain any value or not. If this will not contain any value, I am fetching data from database and setting the value under the row variable. And further, I am just sending a copy of message to output queue, whatever we store under the row variable. Now, for the further business fulfillment, they can take a order details. Okay, now let's deploy the flow and let's see. Now it's done. Now let me hit the flow. Flow executed successfully. Now you can see currently a variable has been declared with row var, which is of under a broker schema this, which is of shared type, and the data type as a row variable. Further, it will check if under row variable anything exists or not. So you can see under the row where nothing exists. If not exist, if nothing exists under the row where, then it will fetch the value from database and set under the row where. So you can see currently nothing exists, so it will do, it is condition become this true, because currently under the row where there is no value present. So if block executed, now under a row where I will set a value from, I will fetch a value from this database. You can see there there are 61 records is there. I will fetch these all 61 records and I will set under the row here. You can see. Okay, okay, debugger got stuck. Debugger stuck. Okay, let me, this problem is happening so frequently. Not sure what is happening wrong. Let me again do the thing. Not sure why debugger got stuck. Okay, Let me clear the output queue for now. Okay, now let me launch the debugger. And let me redeploy the flow, because it will just, maybe it will store the information. So to clear the cache, let me redeploy it. Okay, now let me hit the flow. So let me go inside it. You can see currently the row var has been declared and no value has been set against it. So it will check if row var, under row var, not, if nothing exists. So if condition, this condition is true, because you can see under row var there is nothing exists. So if block will execute and it will fetch the value from database and it will set against the row var. So you can see this block executed and this is giving the error. What error is giving? Let me check. An attempt to make access to database. Okay. So I forget to mention the data source name. Okay, that's my bad. So let me mention the data source name in the compute module is node ds. It's my bad that I forget to mention it. Now let me redeploy it. Now it has been redeployed. Let me hit the flow again. Now flow executed. Now let me go inside here. You can see row var has been declared under the schema with no value assigned. It will check if under row var if nothing exists. So this is correct. So if block will execute and this line is going to execute. If this line is going to execute under row var, under data, this all table value is going to assign. So is going to store. So you can see this executed and you can see under the row var, if you go under the row var, you can see this whole 61 record has been stored. Under data you can see whole 61 record has been stored. Further, what I want to take this all record from input and send to the output queue for the business to fulfill. Okay, so currently you can see in output queue there is no message present. Okay, now let me execute the flow executed. If you see in the output, under explanatory, under order, you can see under details all the customer detail. We are seeing all 61 customer detail, whatever we fetch from database, it is saying. Okay, now if I will return to this, all will be going to the output queue and you can see same information in output, all 61 record we can see. Okay, now this is how we can, this is the first time we are fetching the database. Now let me again hit the flow. Second time when I am hitting the flow, you can see it came here, but under the row variable already all the customer detail is stored. This time we have not called the database till now, right? Because this is when this line is going to execute, database is going to call. But this time, without storing the data, without calling database, we have the value stored inside the row var, right? So why this happened? Because whatever the value we initialize first time, we set it first time against the shared variable, it store the information in form of cache. So initially we called the first time database and we fetches all 61 record from this database and we set it against this shared variable, and the value now this all table value is stored in form of cache, and when it is required to use in this message flow, we can directly access the value with the help of rover.data.customer name. We can access the value and we can use it. So this will basically reduce my effort, and this will improve this will basically improve the application performance, and because it will if I will execute next time, it will check if row where uh, under row where if not exist. So this condition is false because there is data exist under the row here. So this condition is false. So if block will not going to execute, and this database is not going to call. You can see it directly came to return and here, and it will send the value to output. Okay. So in this way we are achieving our target. We are getting value to output without calling the database. So this will basically improve our performance of our application. So what, and if you can see the same message in output, you can see same message in output. Okay. So now if again I will hit the flow again next time, still you can see database is not going to call because the value we have stored, it will be stored in form of cache. You can see again under the row where all the data type, all the value of the will is stored in form of cache, and whatever the value first time we fetch from this database is stored in form of cache, and again it will check if the row under row where there is no value exist. So the not this condition is false. So this block e block is not going to execute, and we are going to send the value to output. Okay. So what's the benefit is happening? Benefit is happening. We are avoiding the database calling again with the help of shared variable. Okay. So with the help of shared variable, we can avoid the database calling, and because every time if application will call database unnecessarily, then then it will degrade the performance. It will degrade the performance, and it will uh, my performance is going to application performance is going to hamper. Okay. So with the help of shared variable, we can achieve our target where we can avoid database calling and again. We will call the database first time, and we will store the information, and from the next time we will can skip the database calling, and whatever the value is stored in database can be used for the further processing. Now let's take a situation where where there can be a possibility this database value is updated. Maybe possibility that this database can be updated with some new information, and but still this will take the older information. Okay. So because this is skipping the database in this is skipping the database calling, and if I will update this database, but still it will take the older information. So it is important to reload the integration server after updating database. So mainly if you have worked in any project, you have seen that people are reloading their integration server after the database update to clear the cache. And if you are a beginner, so mainly people think that this is the part of process that we are reloading we are reloading the integration server, but they are actually not understanding the concept why we are reloading the integration server. And even the senior people will not explain this clearly why we are clearing this they just say that it is we are clearing because of this is the some process part. Okay. They are thinking that just just told him that this is the thing we need to do. Okay. But you need to understand why we are just reloading the integration server after updating database. Okay, so if I will update this database, suppose let me update a table. Suppose I want to update this, update orders. Let me update this table. Okay, and update orders, set total price equal to, suppose what is the value for the quantity who have purchased, value is 440. Or let me do something, let me make it 1000, and for where quantity equal to 10. So what I am doing, I am just updating the total price as a 1000 for the all customer who has purchased uh, quantity 10. Okay, so let me do the thing. Okay, executed successfully. Let me commit this also. Commit is just like a saving. So committed successfully. So now let me now you can see, for those you can see, for those all customer that having the quantity 10, I have set the value as a 1000. Okay, you can see for the all customer that who have a value, I'm set the value quantity as a 1000. So for those all customer who has purchased the quantity 10, I have set the value as a total price as a 1000. So we have updated database. But if I will execute the flow, whether the my flow will understand this value? No. Let me execute the flow. Flow has been executed. It came here. You can see it already taken the previous information what we have stored in form of row here. And if you see here for the quantity 10, let me check. You can see for the Ramesh Singh purchase a quantity 10. You can see still total price is showing as a 400. You can see again if you want to see further. You can see further here it also it is showing as a quantity as a 400. Further if you see more below, let me check here. You can see here also it is quantity 10 as 480, but here in database it is updated with the 1000. So that's the reason, because whatever we have fetched the value initially from the database, it is stored in form of cache, and it is taking the previous information. It is not taking the new information what we have updated in database. So that's the one problem. So that's the reason every time when you are updating the database, it is mandatory to either you redeploy it or reload the integration server or application. The best practice what I have seen the people following is reloading the integration server, because it is because if let me move forward, you can see still in the output what information is following. If you go to the output queue also, you can see still all the information. For the you can see for the quantity 10 total price is 400. Even for the quantity say 10 total price is 400. For the quantity 10 total price is 440, but in database it is 1000, right? So how can we reload the newer information? So to reload the newer information, again we need to follow the same thing. Either you can redeploy your application, first thing you can do. Second thing, either you can reload your integration server, reload your reload your what I said that application, or you can reload your message flow. But the best practice what I have seen the people doing in the IT industry is the reloading the integration server. So you can reload the integration server. For me, as I have done I have launched the debugger. So if I will reload the integration server, maybe I need to reload the, maybe I need to do it again. So or let me do it, better to have, let me do it for you. Okay, let me first remove go out of the what I say that debugging, and let me just hold a minute. I am terminating the debugger. Now let me reload the integration server. So I am just stopping the integration server. Previously I have shown you how can we reload the application. Now this time I am showing how can we reload the integration server. So just you can see application has been stopped. Now I start the application. Reloading means stopping, and starting is called reload. Okay, so you can see it's done. Just wait for the few seconds. So now it is done. Let me launch the debugger. Now let me hit the flow. Now it will now it will take the newer information from the database. Now you can see this time row var is coming with blank with null value. Row var is coming with null value because there is no value initialized with the row var. It will check if anything value exists under row var. No, it is no value exists under row var. So it will fetch the value from database. So you can see it will fetch the value from database, and you can see value has been fetched from database. And if you see now under the for quantity 10, let me just see what here is the value, where is this thing. Okay, let me see. Okay, if you can see for the quantity 10, total price has been updated with 1000, and which is the same that we have in database. And now if I will send this to output, you can see the same information. You can see the same information in output also. You can see for the quantity 10, the total price is 10,000. For the quantity 10, total price is 1000. For the quantity 10, total price is 1000. You can see. So you can see the same information as per the database. Again, let me again hit the flow. You will flow has been executed, and now you can see again database. Again, it is taking the previous information what we have set it the first time in form of catch. Again from the second time database is not going to call, and database calling part will be going to skip by checking the if block, because as under the row where the value is exist and stored in form of catch, so it will check whether the value exists or not. So it will, this condition will not false, it will false, and it will terminate out of if block, and database call is not going to happen, and whatever the information is stored here, that is from the catch. So with the help of shared variable, we can store the information in form of catch, and we can skip the database calling again, and this will improve our application performance. Okay, the same information you can see here in output queue. You can see same information. You can see quantity 10, total price 1000. Okay. Now what we have seen, what we have came to a conclusion. We came to a conclusion that if you are updating, if you are using a shared variable in your message flow to call a database, or in case if you are using a shared variable in your message flow to store the database information by calling the database, then if database getting updated, then you have to make the new information available to the message flow. Whatever you updated in database, you have to reload the integration server, or reload the application, or reload the message flow, or you need to reload the redeploy your application. Anything will work. Okay. So if you are using database, if you are using a shared variable to store database information, okay, and later if you want to use that information in your message flow, then if database getting updated with new information, then to make the change in effect to the message flow with the newer information what you have updated in database, you need to reload the integration server. And the best practice is to reloading the integration server, what I have seen till now. Okay. So this is all about the importance of using the shared variable. So the main importance is that we use the shared variable to skip the calling database again and again. Okay, that's basically improve our performance. Now let's go to the SharePoint. So we have what we have seen. Let's cover each one of the line in detail. We have seen the shared variable can be used to implement in memory cache in message flow. Correct. We have seen that with the help of shared variable we can store the information in form of cache. Here we are using this variable, and under this variable we are storing the information in form of cache. So if you are using the shared variable, you can store the information in form of cache. Shared variable are declared using the keyword shared. So you can see we are using the keyword called shared to declare a shared variable. Now this can be of any type. This can be of character, this can be a integer, this can be a row. Okay, so it can be of any type. It can be declared at schema and module level, cannot be declared function level. The shared variable can be declared at this schema level, or it can be declared at module level, but it cannot be declared at this function level. So this point you need to remember. You can declare the shared variable either schema level or module level. You cannot declare it at function level. Now whatever we store in shared variable, it will store temporarily in the cache. That already tell you ki whatever the information we are storing under the shared variable, it is storing the information in form of cache, and until we refresh the execution group or application flow, until we redeploy or reload the message flow. Okay, so that's the same thing. Whatever the information we are storing under the shared variable, it will basically store the information until we reload the integration server, or reload the application, or reload the message flow, or reload the redeploy your application. Okay, so that's the all thing you need to remember. Okay. Now what is the life of shared variable? A shared variable exists for the lifetime of the integration server process. Okay, so it is saying like that. Suppose if every integration server is running with some process. Okay, so here you can see the integration server, this is running with this process. Okay, so when we reload the integration server, this is basically come with the new process. Okay, so when we reload this integration server, a new process will be going to assign. So that's the same thing it is saying. So it will the life of the life of in other way it is saying that the life of the shared variable is till the integration server we are restarting. When we are restarting the integration server, the shared variable life got ended and it will again loaded with the new information. Okay, the life of the shared variable is till the integration server process, or lifetime of the flow or node, or the lifetime of the node SQL that declares the variable. Okay, this thing I will explain you later. Okay, now this is all about we have learned what is shared variable. Okay, now the one point left to explain you what are the all possible way we can clear the cache, because we have the main challenge about the clearing the cache. Till now we have seen that to clear the cache we are using the either redeploying your application or reloading the integration server application or message flow. But suppose this application, this integration server is a very critical integration server, and it cannot be reloaded. Suppose let's take example. Suppose under this integration server Amazon website is running, and if I will reload this integration server, Amazon website will be unavailable. So people can be panic. Let's take a some more bigger example. Suppose under this integration server Google is running. Okay, and if I will reload this integration server for the few second, the Google Chrome will be unavailable, and it will be a big news for the world. Okay, so this time Google Chrome was unavailable. So because this is a very hot topic for the people that okay, Google Chrome is also unavailable. Similarly, if the Microsoft is not available, then it will be a big news for the people. If you remember the few months back, there was Microsoft was not available for the few minutes, and that was the big news. Okay, so okay, so if in case critical application is running, critical things are running, we cannot reload the integration server. Okay, so to avoid that we have some other approach to clear the cache. Okay, so clearing cache can be, we can take the some other approach to clear the cache that we are going to learn now. Okay, okay, so I hope you understand why I am not following the approach of clearing the cache with using the reloading the integration server, because under this integration server I am assuming like that the application like Google application like that, the Amazon application like that, Microsoft is running, and that application if I will reload this it will be unavailable, because reloading it means it will be stopping this flow and starting the flow. So this all will be not available, and you cannot imagine how what if the Google Chrome or like that some application like that Google or some application like that Microsoft and Amazon will be not available for the few minutes, then people will become panic, right? So okay, so in that case we will not follow the approach of reloading the integration server. We will follow the approach of some other thing, so that we are going to learn now. So we will follow the another approach as the hitting the another flow which refers the cache and using the atomic block. Okay, this approach we are going to learn now. How can we follow this thing? Okay, now let's understand the flow. In same flow let me create another thing. Suppose let me modify this flow, and this is the actual flow, and let me create another flow parallel to this, Suppose let me add a one MQ input node also, and let me add one compute node also, and let me connect this input node to this, and let me add the queue name. Suppose queue name for this, what I can write, let me write some queue name, order dot clear dot catch. Okay, so I am just using the queue name like that, this, and let me input parsing as a XML NSE, and parsing option as a on demand, and let me select the compute node. Let me remove the by default code, and let me remove this thing, and let me set one line of code here like that. Set what is what was the variable name here? It was a row var. Set row var is equal to null. Okay, so what I am doing here, I created a parallel flow to this as you can see. You can see this compute module and this compute module. Let me rename this also, like that, clear catch. Okay, okay, let's understand the thing. You can see, let me just plug this. So if you see here, this variable declared here, the row var declared here as a schema level, correct? And when I am using a new compute module, for this also schema is same. So we don't need to declare the variable again under this module. So whatever the module, whatever the compute node use here, for those all, the broker schema will same. So that's the advantage of using the broker schema. So if you will declare any variable here under the broker schema, that will also available under the another compute module, another what I said, another compute node. But if you see here, here compute module name is the variable in ESQL compute node 1, and here you can see variable in SQL compute. So compute module name are different, but broker schema name are same. So it is best practice to declare a variable under the broker schema, so that if you are using another compute module, another compute node, another compute node. So you don't need to declare the variable, and you can use the same variable into the another compute node. So that's the same thing I am doing here. I am just using the same variable that I have created here as a row here to the this and declaring with null. And what I mean, you know the specialty of null. If I will write like that, if I will write like that, it means it will set the value null against the row variable. But if I will directly assign a null value, so it will delete the row here. So what I am doing, I am just directly deleting the row here. Okay, so that will clear my cache. So what I am doing, I am just, let me explain you. I am just creating two flow. This is my actual flow, and this is the flow I am using for clearing a cache. So this flow I am using to clear the cache, and this flow I am using to perform my operations. So now we don't need to what I said, that we don't need to reload the integration server to clear the cache. So now the Google website and Amazon website, these all will be available whatever are deployed under the integration server, and there is no need to be redeploy the uh, redeploy or restart the integration server. So what I did, this is my actual flow. Under actual flow, I declared a variable under the broker schema with row var, and I am checking if anything present under the row variable. If nothing exists under the variable, it will fetch the value from database. And whatever the value we have fetched the value from database, I have set it under the row variable. And further, I am sending this the value with the help of row variable. I am sending this value to output. But we have seen that if in case of database getting updated, still it is taking the older value, and to refresh the to clear the cache to load the new information, we are basically reloading the integration server to make the newer update to the message flow. But we have faced the situation that if we reload the integration server every time, it will impact the business, and it will be, people may become panic that site is not available, right? To counter this issue, we came at a conclusion. Let's create a flow parallel to this message flow to clear the cache. So I use the MQ input and the node called the clear cache to clear the cache. So here I have used the same thing like that. I have created a queue with the name order clear cache. You can create any name. I selected the parsing as XML NSC, and parsing option is a complete. There is no need to set other thing, but just I have selected the thing. In compute module, what I did, you can see the variable that is created under the broker schema each can be available to other compute node also, because you can see the broker schema for the both compute node is same. For this broker schema and for this broker schema is same. So the whatever the variable you declared here under the broker schema will be available to the this compute node also. So I directly access that variable, and what I did, I just declared a row var equal to, I set the row var value is equal to null. It means I am just directly deleting the row var field. So I'm deleting the row var by assigning the null. If you assign any field with null, the field will be deleted. Okay. So now let me show you how basically it is working. So let me build and save the var file, and let me deploy it. Now let me add a breakpoint. Now let me hit the flow. Flow executed. and you can see currently the row here has been declared, and as this is the first time I redeployed, so currently there is nothing stored under the row here, so it will not exist, and there is nothing exist under row here. This condition is true, so it will execute this line. Under the row here we will fetch the value from database. So you can see the value from database has been fetched and all stored under the field called data. Further, I will set this information to the output. Now this information has been sent to the output queue. You can see. Now again, when I will send this flow again same time, it will not call database to take the information, and it will not call database, and it will automatically take that information, and you can see it is not calling database if lock is not getting executed, and directly it is setting against the output route. Okay, so you can see, but in between, suppose in between we have updated a table, and with the price 800, suppose, and so it is updated, and if you see, for the quantity person who has purchased the quantity 10, the value is updated with 800. But if I will again execute the flow, it will load the older information. So you can see still it is taking the older information. Let me show you. For quantity 10, let me just, you can see, okay, you can see still it is taking the, for quantity 10 it is still taking the total price is 1000, but still here we have updated with the, here we have updated with the 800. So it is not taking the newer information from database. Okay, in this scenario we need to clear the cache. To clear the cache, what we can do, we can, there is one way to clear the cache. We can reload the integration server, reload the application, or reload the message flow, or redeploy the application. But that thing we have seen already, and we have seen the what's the problem happening with that thing. The problem happening that the business critical thing we cannot really redeploy or reload the integration server. We need to follow the alternate approach. The alternate approach, I have came with the solution to create a parallel flow, and when we call the parallel flow, it basically delete the variable that where we are where we are storing the information. Okay, so let me call the parallel flow that we have. So let me select the queue name. What is the queue name I have selected? This is the queue name, and let me, there is no need to select the message, just hit the flow hit. You can see it came here. You just go inside the compute node, and if you see still here, as we have declared the variable here at the schema level, so even we execute this flow, the variable will be visible. You can see variable is visible. Even we are executing this flow, as we have declared the variable at the schema level, we can access the from the different flow created under the same message flow. So you can see under same message flow I have created another flow, and we can access the variable whatever we. Now what I am doing here, I am just assigning a null value, so it will delete the row here. Now you can see row here has been deleted, and under that there is no value now exist. I have deleted the row value under the row here with the help of null, and currently there is no value exist. It means I have cleared the cache. Now let's hit the flow with the main flow and see, let's see whether the new information is getting loaded or not. So let me just select the queue. Queue is the orders.in. Okay, and just let me hit the flow. Flow executed, and you can see the row here is declared and no value has been assigned against the row here. It means the cache has been cleared, and it will call database to load the new information. You can see it loaded. It checks the condition. If row here any value not exist under the row here, oh yes, the condition is correct, so it will set the value by fetching value from database. And if you see the value, what's the new value, you can see for the person who is purchasing the quantity 10, the total price is getting set, and it is the same information what we updated under database. So see how basically smartly we have clear the cache without reloading the integration server, right? So same information if I will check for the some other value also. Let me, you can see 800 value has been set. Okay, so in this way we have cleared the cache also without reloading the integration server, and send the value with the updated information. And if I will browse the latest message, you can see this is the latest message with the quantity 10 with the total price 800. So this is how we can handle the situation, and we have seen how basically our shared variable we have clear the cache. Okay, but there is challenge here. What is the challenge? Let's understand the thing. Challenge is that suppose in between I am executing this flow and parallelly someone executed this flow, so this will clear this value and we will get a blank message. Let me show you. Suppose I have hitted this flow, and this flow has e checking, and you can see currently in output root no value has been stated, but you can see under the row here we have the all data details, correct? So we have executed this flow, but in between by mistake someone executed the another flow also, parallel flow, that is the cache flow, by mistakenly. And what will happen? Okay, okay, someone hitted this flow, and let me see. You can see it came here and it will clear the cache. Consider situation. Suppose this flow has been executed and parallelly someone executed this flow. So what will happen? Before loading the new information, the cache will become clear. Correct? So, so we will get nothing in output. To make the both flow in concurrency, we are using the atomic block. So we have a concept of atomic block to make the flow in concurrent. Let me again try one more time. This just I want to see something. To make the both flow in concurrent, we use the atomic block. So that atomic block ensure that this flow will execute first and this flow will execute after that. So how can we declare the atomic block? We have a, if you go to syntax, there is a like that. If I will write that begin atomic block and end, this is the syntax. Okay, so you can write like that, begin atomic block, begin atomic, and you can do here as a end. But you need to give some level to this atomic block. To give the level, you can write any name. Suppose I am writing x, so I am just writing x to give a level to this atomic block. Just 1 minute. I am giving a level as a x. Why this is? Let me do x, and I can do the index. So this is like the loop. If you seen the, if you remember the earlier what we have learned in the loop class, in loop we are giving a level as a x. Same thing, I am giving a atomic block as a level. Similarly, let me do same thing for the clear catch also. You can do here also as a x, just like that, x begin atomic and index. So it will make the flow concurrent. Okay, so in this way we can make the flow in concurrent. So what I did in the main flow, I written like that, begin atomic and end. This is the syntax, and I label this with the x and ended with x. Similarly, as this is the level for the main flow, the same level I will be providing to the cache flow also with index. Okay, now let me execute the flow to show you. So let me build and save the bar file, and let me deploy it. Deployed successfully. Now let me hit the flow with queue name as a order dot in. Flow executed. You can see, go inside here, you can see currently there is no value assigned. Okay, this block executed. Let me complete this, and this completed. Let me again hit the flow. Flow executed again. What is happening? Let me write the flow. Flow executed again, and if you see here, currently under the row val we have the all the value from database stored. But some in between, someone what it did by mistakenly, someone heated the flow with the cache flow with this flow. So what will happen? Someone hit this flow, cache flow. So what will happen? This atomic block will ensure that the main flow will execute first and the cache will execute later, so that whatever the information currently, before clearing the cache, whatever the information currently present here, it will go. So you can see currently in output, if you see, we get the same information. If I will clear the this message in the latest message, okay, let me again hit the flow. Not sure what's wrong happening. So let me again hit the flow. This flow executed. Let me hit the cache flow parallelly. Cache flow also executed. Go inside the compute mode. What value set it? Let's check it. You can see, not sure why it is not taking the order still. Okay, you can see it is clearing the cache. That's the reason it is not taking the value. Let me see the what's wrong happening. So that's the reason we use the atomic block, to avoid clearing the cache. Let me see where the wrong happening. X began return true, not return. X began atomic index, and here is the X begin atomic not exist index. Not here. Now let me hit the flow. Let me hit the first order in. Let me hit the cache flow parallelly. Okay, now hit it. It came here. Now let's see the output queue. Let me clear this message. You can see now. Correct? So that's the reason we are using the atomic block. I hope you understand. So let me show you again one more time. Let me hit the input message to main flow first. I hit the main message to the main flow. Now let me parallelly send the message to the cache flow. Now let me move forward. It came here. It will check the value. It will declare it. It will set the value. It will send to output. And you can see this output information. Correct? So with the help of atomic block, we can ensure that if someone by mistakenly hit the flow this one, first it will complete this flow, then it will clear the cache. Again, next time it will reload with the new information. Okay. So till now what we have learned, let me just quickly hit some before summarizing this flow. Let's see what is the limitation of using the shared variable. So there are some certain limitation of using the shared variable. Let's explore the thing. Because shared variable has certain problem, that's reasons many people don't use the shared variable. So what are the problem with the shared variable? Let's understand the thing. First is the concurrency issue. Since shared variable can be accessed by the multiple instance of same message flow, there is a risk of race condition and data inconsistency, that is if not managed properly. It is saying that, as you know, this shared variable is access this is shared variable, this access by the this compute module also and this compute module also. So as this can be accessed by the multiple instance of same message flow, there is a risk that similar like that whatever the value stated in this one compute module can be changed into other compute module if you use the same variable. Okay, like here if you see what we are doing, here we are using the same variable to fetch the value, but here we are using the same variable to clear the value, clear the cache. To maintain the concurrency, we have the atomicity. So we can use the to ensure the data concurrency consistency, you ensure the begin atomic construct, and you can add the complexity to your ESQL code. So to maintain the consistency, data consistency, so that the proper information will flow through the message flow, we use the begin atomic, so that first it will complete my main flow, then if parallelly any flow will call, it will call later. Okay, so first issue we have seen that as the shared variable accessible by multiple flow, so there can be a risk that data inconsistency if not managed properly. And to fix this issue, we have come to a solution that we can use the atomic block to fix this issue. So what we can do, we can use the atomic block in this message flow also, and we can use atomic block in this message flow also. And what will happen if somehow this flow is calling, and again parallelly if this flow is called, someone called, so this flow will be called first and later this flow will called. Okay, now come to the second problem. Shared variable consume memory, and if not used carefully, they can lead to the excessive memory consumption, and especially if they stored large amount of data. So there can be a problem that, as you know, that shared variable store the information in form of cache, and cache is nothing, it is a memory that temporarily used by the variable. So if we not manage the memory properly, so there can be a memory issue if we store some information uh, that is of high memory inside a cache. So there can be there can be lead to a excessive memory consumption, and this can be a hamper the performance of your application. There is a third problem, is that lifetime management. The lifetime of the shared variable is the tied to the lifetime of the integration server process or the flow or the node. That's correct. So the lifetime is still that until that we are restarting the integration server or restarting the flow or restarting the integration node. So this can lead to issue that if the server is restarted, or the flow is redeployed. So in case if we redeploy the integration server or restarted integration server, it will take the newer information. That's the one biggest problem, that to avoid the reloading the integration, so that we need to very cautious that we to avoid the reloading or restarting the integration server while using this type of integration server. So lifetime we need to do management, so that we need to, before starting this type of integration server, we need to ensure that database or something is not updated with the newer information if you want to still use the older information. Next is the initialization. Shared variable are initialized when the first message pass through the flow or a node after each integration node of a startup, and this means that the initial state might not be predictable. There can be a situation, suppose we are initializing the variable, and while initializing the variables, as you know that when the after redeploy the application or restarting the integration server or restarting the application, whatever thing, very first time whatever the information sent to the input, according to that the shared variable store the information. And suppose what will happen if somehow the value is stored under the shared variable is not correct. So because from next time whatever the message flow will call, what suppose next time from the second time after the first time flow execute, it will store the information, and from the second time it will not take the new information, it will capture the, it will take the older information, and older information is wrong. So every time whatever data transformation will happen with the wrong information. So we it is there is one big problem that if somehow the very first time after restart of integration server information is reloaded with the information is stored in form of cache in shared variable in form of is wrong, then it will create a problem, and it will do stuff and wrong information will flow to output. Okay, so these all are the limitation of shared variable. See, if I say quickly, first limitation is that as this variable is accessible throughout the message flow in the same message throughout the module in the same message flow, so there can be possibility that other flow can call and it will delete the whatever the variable set under this compute module. Okay, so to avoid this, you can use the atomic block. Okay, second is the, there can be that we store the some information in the form of cache which is taking high memory, and that can lead the hamper the application performance, and that can create a problem. Third thing is that lifetime we need to do management, because as every time some information, as actually every time we are updating the information in database, we need to restart the or redeploy the application or integration server, then we need to be very cautious before doing the restart or before deploying, because so this all thing we need to do. Okay, next situation we have seen that the if somehow very first, because as this shared variable store the information when the first message passes through the flow, and in case somehow the first information is not stored correctly inside a shared variable, so it can be a problem that wrong information flow to business and it can hamper your business. Okay, so that's all about the normal variable and shared variable in SQL. Now let me quickly summarize the normal variable and shared variable. In next lecture, in next class, we will learn the external variable. So when talking about the variables are of the three types: normal, shared, and external. In this lecture, we have learned the normal variable and shared variable. We have seen the normal variable is nothing, whatever the variable we have learned before this lecture is the normal variable, and this is the accessible, the lifetime is just one message passing through the node, and it can be initialized at any level, it can be declared at any level, and if we are not using any keyword like shared and external, that is called a normal variable. Now when talking about the shared variable, shared, whatever the variable we declared at shared variable, okay, it basically is stored in form of catch in the message flow, and we declare a variable shared variable by using the keyword shared, by using the keyword shared. Now next point is that shared variable of any type, you can select any type, that character, integer, row, and there is no limitation. Shared variable can be declared at schema level or can be declared at module level, but it is best practice to declare at schema level so that it can be used with the other flow. And if you don't want to use at the other module, then you can use at a module level. If you don't want to use at other, if you don't want the other compute node use this same thing, so you can use at the module level. Okay, so can be used at a module level or can be used at a schema level. And whatever we inform in shared variable, it will be stored in form of catch, you know the thing same. And to clear the cache, we have the two way to clear the cache, not the three way. We have the two way to clear the cache. So first way is, okay, first way is either you can reload the EG, reload the application, reload the message flow, or redeploy the application. Even if you reload the integration node, the net will also work, but reloading the integration node is not a feasible thing. Okay, second is the second situation we have seen that we, in some case we cannot reload the integration server or message flow because this will impact the business. To counter this situation, we have came to a solution where we can create a parallel flow to clear the cache, and we can set the variable value to a null so that it will clear the cache. So we can create a parallel flow, we can hit the another flow which refresh the cache. Okay, so this is the another way to clear the cache, to hit the another flow that will clear the cache, and after that this will load with the new information. So that's the flow that will basically uh, help that will basically help us to avoid reloading the integration server, these all thing. Okay, but there will be a situation happen that suppose if this flow is main flow is getting executed, and in between someone by mistakenly that executed this flow, then what will happen, this we will get a blank in output. Okay, to avoid this thing, we came to a conclusion that we can use the atomic block. Atomic block helping us to make the uh, atomic block basically helps ensure the data consistency. Okay, so it will basically ensure that the this flow and this flow will be in the it will be in the it will be concurrent, and it will basically will be in lineup. Okay, so if we use the atomic block can be used at begin, atomic, and end. But if we are, as this we are using with the two flow, so to make sure that the both flow is in the lineup, we are basically using the x is just a label to this block, like we are using in the loop, and we are just ending the x. And similar thing I have used here also before the row where we are setting the null. So this will basically ensure that if this flow is executed, and in between someone executed this flow, so it will first complete this flow and then it will clear the cache. Okay, so that basically help us to get the proper information in output, mq output, uh, and it will not hamper the business. Okay, now this is all about the shared variable. Lastly, we have seen the lifetime of the shared variable. Shared variable exists the lifetime of the integration server process, or lifetime of the flow, or the lifetime of the node, or the lifetime of the node SQL query declare the variable. So that's the same thing that I told you. This will tell you at last. So you can see lifetime of the, it is saying that lifetime of this variable, you can see here with the help of null I am just ending the lifetime of this variable. So we can end the lifetime of the variable that is storing the that declaring the shared variable. So if the lifetime of the node SQL that declare the variable, if we can end, then this can be a another. So lifetime of the shared variable is the lifetime of the integration node, or life of the integration server, or lifetime of the uh, application, or lifetime of the message flow, or lifetime of the variable that declared the shared variable. Okay, and lifetime of the nodes means there is a process running, and if that process will end, then it will be a new process will generate, and that's the lifetime of the integration node. And if we reload that integration node or kill the process, then it will basically came with the new process, and it will basically take the new information. Okay, so that's the thing you need to remember. Okay, so further we have seen that there are some limitation of using the shared variable that we can maybe counter into next when we are learning the external variable. So limitation is like that there will be a risk of concurrency issue, where if there as this flow is as this variable is accessible with the multiple flow, so there can be a problem that someone can clear the use the same variable to uh, clear the data stored inside the cache in the shared variable. So it to avoid this risk, we have a solution to use the atomic block. With the help of atomic block, we basically ensure that the data consistency. Further, we have seen there can be a possibility of memory usage, because as this shared variable is stored in the form of cache, so there can be that if someone if like that can be excessive memory consumption. So if there will be a higher memory we store inside the cache, there can be a performance of application got hamper. And also we have seen there will be we need to do lifetime management, because as shared variable basically exists till the integration server process or the node and flow process. So we need to do lifetime management. We need to do integration server restart post if someone is updating the database or something other thing. Okay, there will be also we have seen there is a initialization. There is a big issue that if someone as after redeploy or restart of integration server, very first time whatever the message sent according to that logic, according to that information, shared variable store the information in form of cache. And in case of very first time, if the information got wrong set um, under the shared variable, so it will that will be available uh, until we further restart the integration node, or integration server, or redeploy the message flow. Okay, so that can be situation that wrong information flow to the business, and it will hamper the performance of the business, and it will create a issue to business. Okay, so this is all about the normal variable and shared variable. In the next class we will learn about the external variable. Thank you all.